Middlesex.
After 8 years of this government, Canadians are seeing record inflation and they're seeing their grocery prices skyrocket thanks to the carbon tax. Tiff Macklem, the Bank of Canada governor, agrees and says, quote, the carbon tax announcements that have it going up increases inflation each year, unquote. The NDP Liberal carbon tax has increased the cost of apples by 61%. And that's just one example. Everything is more expensive. Will the Prime Minister cancel his plans to increase his inflationary carbon tax?
Parliamentary Secretary.
Since it's the first time that I get to stand in the House on behalf of the Minister of the Environment and Climate Change, I'd like to express solidarity and condolences to all the families who suffered this year's unprecedented wildfire season. Mr. Speaker, I'd like to read a quote called "A Good Idea." Quote, "Thank you for the question," and I'll read a quote from a well-known conservative. "I wholeheartedly support in the production of energy, identifying its negative environmental impacts and include the costs of mitigation in the price of the product. This idea is using carbon pricing to reduce greenhouse gas emissions." Mr. Speaker, that quote is from Preston Manning, the political mentor of the Leader of the Official Opposition.
Honourable member for Lambton Kent Middlesex.
Well, Mr. Speaker, it's not rocket science. It's basic math that the NDP Liberal government just doesn't seem to get. If it costs the farmer more to grow the food and costs the trucker more to ship the food, it's going to cost Canadian families more to buy the food. And now, after 8 years of raising taxes on families, farmers, and truckers, they want to quadruple the carbon tax. This Prime Minister is not worth the cost. So when will the Prime Minister cancel his plans to increase his inflationary carbon tax?
Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Environment.
Conservatives just don't seem to get is there's a cost of climate change as well. But I appreciate the opportunity to remind Canadians that the Price on Pollution is a rebate program, and over the next couple of weeks, the tax-free quarterly payment goes out. That's the first week of October. And my colleague is from Ontario, so for a family of 4, this happens 4 times a year, Mr. Speaker. It's $244 quarterly for families in Ontario. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.